This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to ER Vet on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Justine Lee, and today I'm really excited to be talking about a new product called Wholetones. We'll be right back after these messages.
DINOVITE.com.
When we put him on the DynaVite, he took right to it. All of these symptoms disappeared.
DynaVite is nutrition.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Something that he actually likes to eat. You need to put him on DynaVite.
DynaVite for life.
If you love your dog, you don't just want him healthy, you want him to be happy.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to ER Vet on Pet Life Radio. Really excited to have Michael Tyrrell, who's the founder and president of Wholetones, here with us today. We're going to be talking a bit about separation anxiety and how music can potentially help with separation anxiety. So, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's an honor, Justine. Glad to be here.
So just so our audience and our pet lovers out there know a little bit about you, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and Wholetones and how you got started?
Absolutely. I've been a musician all my life. You know, like there's musicians and then there's real musicians, the one that actually read music and compose for symphonies. I'm the latter. And I grew up as a musician and was blessed enough always to be a musician and be able to support my family with music. I won a Grammy back in '86, I believe, which was kind of a big deal at the time. Now it just collects dust. And ever since I was born, I always had this nagging feeling, and it's a bizarre, random feeling, that there was something wrong with music. And as a musician and as a listener of music, most people realize that music is like the soundtrack of every human life. It's connected to our limbic system, and you know, we can smell something or taste something, and it can bring us right back to a time in our life where we heard a song, or we can hear a song. It brings us right back into a time in our life where we have a memory or some kind of an experience. And so, to make a long story short, after years and years of playing, I had this idea that I needed to shift the way that music was tuned. I felt that there was an incorrect tuning of music overall, and I did some research, years and years of research actually, and I remember being on the road playing some gigs, and I went to a music store to buy some guitar strings, and I asked the guy at the counter, I said, "Can you tell me why the tuners you sell are calibrated to the note A equals 440 hertz, which is the measurement of, vibrations per second?" And his huge answer to my question was, "I don't know, dude." And so I started asking everyone in every music store I went to, why is this particular frequency chosen as the tuning center? And I got 1,182 times, "I don't know, dude." And "I don't know, dude" just says to me, you've got to dig deeper. I don't give up easily. And I kept studying and found out that there was indeed some nefarious uses for frequency, and interestingly enough, for the 440 hertz, which as we know, that has been euphemistically entitled the standard pitch or standard music pitch. I found out quickly that every country tunes to a different frequency for the most part. There's a few overlaps, but by and large, if I was to tune to my tuner here in the U.S. and go play music in Venezuela, we'd still be out of tune, even though we tune to our respective tuners, because they tune to a different frequency than we do. So when I started digging in deeper and found out that this frequency of 440 actually came from Nazi Germany, a man named Joseph Goebbels had used it as the German radio beat where they would broadcast on the AM dial the propaganda, and that the actual frequency itself had a way of interrupting the circadian rhythm of the human body, and not just the human body, but our fur babies' bodies, so that insomnia could ensue, that you wouldn't rest, and the circadian rhythm, that bio clock that we are all programmed with, where our own bodies heal on the clock tick every hour while we're sleeping, would be interrupted. And so when I discovered the beginning of that and did several scientific studies behind it, I realized that I had to find a frequency center that did the opposite, that worked with the circadian rhythm of the human body and helped harmonize the body on a cellular level as well as an emotional level. And I'm telling you a 3-hour story in about, a minute and a half. And so I finally did discover a frequency. I readjusted all of the music, the way I compose music, the way I interpret music. And then I added harmonic frequency underlayments to all of my music, and then just have my band play over the top of these. And Wholetones was born. We're now in 176 nations, I believe, and I create music projects that help both humans and pets relax. I have one that helps them sleep, and the newest incarnation of Wholetones, again, is Wholetones for Pets.
So, it's interesting. I end up seeing a lot of separation anxiety in dogs and less so in cats. But let me just talk a little bit first about some of the signs of separation anxiety and why it may be beneficial to actually have Wholetones as background noise. So the biggest thing that dog owners need to be aware of is signs of separation anxiety are typically manifested as crying, whining, or barking when you leave the house. It could be destruction of personal items like the pillow, the dog bed, a blanket. They could have accidents at home. They could try to escape from that area, or they're pacing. They may be barking and howling, and you're getting a call from your landlord saying your dog is barking constantly. And so it's really important to be aware of some of these signs. Now, we always want to make sure that we create a safe haven. And so that may be something like a crate, if your dog is appropriately crate trained. It may be talking to your veterinarian about using drugs if necessary. These are usually drugs that are anti-anxiety drugs. But obviously, it would be fantastic if we could actually use music instead of having to use medication first. And don't get me wrong, some dogs have such severe separation anxiety that they absolutely must need some type of sedative or what we call anxiolytic drug like trazodone, fluoxetine, different drugs out there. But it'd be so incredible if we could use music. So that's where Wholetones came in. And I actually got to check this out in my own pet at home, and I actually brought it to the clinic. So first of all, can you describe what the difference between regular music and frequency-based music is, and how Wholetones can help with our four-legged friends?
Absolutely. When we say regular music, again, it's kind of a mixed bag. So frequency in its own right, as I mentioned earlier, there's a tuning center that people choose. And again, it's purely by vibration. And what was popular with the 440 hertz, like I said, interrupts or does the opposite of what you want to do for a stressed out pet. It actually overexcites them. It excites their adrenal gland. They actually pant more, actually destruct more, actually. So everything you just mentioned, it kind of exacerbates, whereas the music that I chose, it's kind of an interesting component. It's bilayered, like I said, not binaural, which I don't believe in, by the way. I'd like to say that. Meaning I don't believe in using two frequencies at the same time. I believe that is disastrous for humans with PTSD, TBIs, or people with epilepsy, or dogs with any kind of nervous condition. So my music basically has an underlying frequency and then actual live analog music that I record in Dallas in a studio with my band that plays over the top. And so basically all brains, pet and human brains, they love patterns. They, in a crazy world that we live in and with all the other outside stressors, most of which are invisible, like EMFs and infrared and all kinds of different electronic impulses and photonic energy and stuff that interrupts our normal life anyway, the brain is specifically looking for a pattern. And when we give, especially a dog or cat, parrot or ferret, your favorite pet, that stability when you're gone, see, when you're the center of their universe, I mean, when you go to work and that door closes, I don't know if they have a time and space understanding, but I do know they know absence, and they know that your vibration or your energy is gone from the house. And when that happens, some of them just go buck wild. And when you leave Wholetones for Pets on, you're basically leaving energy, frequency in the room with them. And it's sustainable energy their brain can lock into that causes them, in most cases, and surprisingly high number percentage-wise, to curl up in their little bed and go to sleep. And when you get home, it's not like the guns of Navarone, the rockets go off and they go completely nuts. They're happy to see you. They'll come and do what they do, but it's not that nervous thing like, oh, thank God you're home. I thought I was going to die. It's more of a controlled, yeah, my favorite person's home. And like I said, that we've conducted several studies, and so far, this is my newest device. But so far, I was on the road talking about it in New York the other day, and I was talking about Wholetones to sleep, which we have clinical research on, and everybody's, oh, that's great. Yeah, everyone needs sleep, but tell me more about the dog. Tell me more about the dog stuff. So I realized quickly that that's the big thing for even more than their own self or self-care or sleep. People are more concerned about the well-being of their pets. And I am overwhelmed to see that something that I was able to work on and create actually is helping our friends, because we're big rescue people here. And so it started with our dog. I mean, that's how I first discovered this, honestly.
So first of all, can you describe and tell us what exactly is someone getting when they get a Wholetones? Can you describe the device and what it is?
I can, and I can tell you also my heart behind it, because, everybody's a little bit different, but I also realize that, and I hate to say it, but it's really true. Honestly, women tend to be more sensitive and seem to be more conscious of their pets than guys. I mean, guys are more like, there's my dog, that's my hunting dog, and then women are more like, this is a part of the family. And so when I created the unit first, and I'll go into, some details about it, first thing I wanted to create is I wanted even the packaging and the aesthetics of the unit to be pleasing for women, because there's things about it. It took me a long time to design it, because I even wanted I wanted it to be like when they got this box, that it was like opening a box of chocolate. There's like this brown kind of like, Louis Vuitton-ish brown color with all these little pet caricatures on the side of it. And I took a lot of time with the unit. The unit itself, just so everyone knows, is 100% self-contained. Does not require Wi-Fi, obviously, does not require Bluetooth. And why? Because I'm a big deal with energy, and EMFs can also really overexcite pets. And so it'd be kind of dumb to have one that was dependent on the internet. So the first thing I did was make sure that it had no palpable EMF measurement. Second thing, instead of having the rechargeable battery, which really does, believe it or not, drive the price up substantially, I made this what we call a plug and play, or the good old AC adapter. It comes with it. Everything that you need comes with it. So this is not a charging unit, meaning you don't charge a rechargeable battery on this. You put it anywhere in the house and you plug it in and turn it on, and you can go all day. You can just leave and know that while I'm at work, this beautiful music is playing and my dog, cat, parrot, ferret is pacified. The cool thing about it is super simple. On the bottom of the unit, you'll see like 4 major controls on there, which is just volume up and down. You can, not that you would want to or that the dog would be smart enough to, but you can advance or subtract the track. You go forward or backwards. And then there's a mode button, which is a timer. If for some reason you just wanted to put it on a timer, you can. But to be quite honest, most people do the plug and play one touch. And the one touch is they plug it into the wall, they push the power button, and they hug their dog or cat, and they go to work. And then when they come home, it's still playing. Volume, just so everybody knows, all the music is embedded in the player. You don't need anything else, like I said. And it's super heavy duty. It's virtually, I hate to use the word indestructible, but I build things so people buy them one time. So I don't know how you'd have to take like a sledgehammer to destroy this thing. It's steel. And it's, even though it's not heavy to pick up, it's probably about half the size of Alexa, I think, or a third of the size of Alexa, and it's about the same diameter round-wise. So it's basically a one and done, everything in one little can music device player for your pets that just works wonders for stressed out pets. And the big takeaway is my local pet store here, Jake's, went nuts over it, because I live in Florida and we have a lot of hurricanes down here. And people were saying there's nothing out there that works for my dog during hurricane season. Well, this eventually, when I created it, came out on a hard copy disc, and everybody wanted the hard copy disc. I sold out in a matter of hours before this big hurricane. Well, it went so well that then I developed the player, and Jake said they can't keep them in the store, which I think is just awesome. So it really has been a major blessing. People use it. We have out here where I live, we have the International Polo Fields, and so they use it with horses, in the equine facility, in the equine hyperbaric chambers out here. They use it to keep the animals peaceful as well. So that's Wholetones in a nutshell for pets. It's a lovely little, you're going to really love it. It's a lovely little music player that you just turn on and go to work and turn it off when you get home. It's
wonderful.
Simple.
Thank you so much for that information. And I will say I was able to sample this. And again, it's relatively small. It's just a small speaker that you plug in. I use this on my own dog. And I brought it into the clinic, and one of our staff members, who's a fellow veterinarian, her own dog had to come into work that day because she lives in an apartment and there was someone's fire alarm that was going off, or some kind of constant beeping, and it was just driving her dog nuts. And her dog was barking the whole time in the clinic. I said, hey, do you mind? Let me try this Wholetones. Why don't you put it in we had that small dog in the cat ward because there were no other cats in there. And I said, why don't you put this and plug it into the cat ward and see how your dog does? And the dog, who had been barking for hours, as soon as we started playing it, stopped barking and was quiet. And 20 minutes later, I actually said to the vet, I was like, dude, it's totally working. That's amazing. So I know you have a bunch of testimonials on your website, but it was just really neat to see. So for those of you guys who are interested, please go to wholetonesforpets.com. Michael, I know you have a promo code that you're willing to offer our ERVET Pet Life Radio listeners. So do you mind giving us some more information and listing the website again where they can go?
Absolutely. The website for you to visit is Wholetonesforpets.com. And that's WHOLETONESFORPETS.com. And when you go to the website, you'll see a place where you can enter a promo code, and your promo code is VET, V-E-T. And so all of you listening today will be able to save $10 off on your order. That's promo code VET.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with Michael right after these messages. You've heard the saying, music soothes a savage beast, right? Well, it's true. If your fur baby is experiencing symptoms of stress and anxiety, such as dogs cowering in fear from fireworks or loud noises, destroying clothing or furniture, excessive barking, or separation anxiety, then you want to check out Wholetones. Wholetones is a solution where you get a home speaker that you just plug in, and it's preloaded with over 50 minutes of specially composed original music. The Wholetones solution provides total peace for your pet without any potential side effects of drugs and tranquilizers. Provide music to your pet while you're away at work. It's safe, effective, and guaranteed to work, or your money back. Visit Wholetonesforpets.com and use promo code VET, that's V-E-T, to receive $10 off. That's Wholetonesforpets.com and promo code VET.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life
PetLifeRadio.com.
Radio.
Welcome back to ERVET on Pet Life Radio. Really excited to be talking to the founder of Wholetones for Pets. This is calming music for stressed out pets. Michael, thank you so much for this information. Really appreciate it. And I know after demoing it myself that it definitely worked in some of the patients that I tried it in. So nice to be able to have music as an option for pets with separation anxiety. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about separation anxiety. Now, this is more common than we think, and this is actually the number one reason why pet owners make appointments with board-certified veterinary behaviorists. It can be really severe. I've seen dogs chew through sheetrock, and so some dogs have really severe separation anxiety. Now, when we look at different breeds or types of dogs that get separation anxiety, it often is a dog that was rescued or came from a shelter. It's usually younger to middle-aged dogs. And again, it's usually dogs that as soon as the owner leaves, usually within 30 minutes of leaving, they start to chew or pace or urinate or defecate or howl. And again, we talked about how you should always talk to your veterinarian about different medical options that we have. There are a lot of sedatives or anxiolytic medications like trazodone or fluoxetine. So a lot of prescription medications if it's really, really severe. But when in doubt, if there's a couple of environmental things we can do to have to minimize the risk of taking oral medication, that's where we want to start. So it could be something like starting with a safe haven, an open crate or mat, making sure you're appropriately crate training a dog, using food dispensing toys, filling a Kong with peanut butter, or filling it with chicken noodle soup and then putting it in the freezer so your dog has to work at getting a treat. This helps redirect their attention. being able to practice stay or calming exercises, being able to help your dog when it comes to your cues for departure. You may not realize, but we oftentimes as pet owners are inadvertently giving our dogs clues that we're leaving. We're putting on our shoes, we're picking up our keys, we're putting on our jacket. Dogs realize that. And so if we just randomly pick up the keys during the day, or we randomly put on our jacket and take it back off and still stay, there's a lot of things you can do to desensitize that actual departure. Remember, we never want to use punishment when it comes to training of dogs. And so again, separation anxiety can be pretty serious. Remember, it's often shelter or rescue dogs. It's usually due to some significant perpetuation of a daily schedule, like maybe you have a new job and you've been unemployed or you've been working from home. Your dog's not used to that. Or maybe you left for a month and you left your dog with a dog sitter. So again, there can be some changes in environment, but we want to do everything that we can as both a veterinarian and also as a pet owner to help minimize that separation anxiety. So set your dog up for success. When in doubt, talk to your veterinarian or make an appointment with a board-certified veterinary behaviorist. Consider drug therapy, but when in doubt, you can always try benign things at home before we have to put our dog on a prescription medication. I always recommend getting some kind of video camera so you can potentially videotape what's going on and spy on your dog to see how destructive they are at home, right? Using food toys to help out, changing the ritual and helping desensitize your dog. Again, music is a great way of being able to create a white noise for your dog. So again, we've been talking with Michael about Wholetones for pets. And again, this is a great calming music for stressed out dogs. And you can go to the website at wholetonesforpets.com for more information. Again, that's WHOLETONES for pets.com, FORPETS.com. Michael, any other tips or hints you want to leave us with?
Well, I can tell you that I just loved listening to what you just shared. Those are just brilliant ideas. And having a rescue that pretty much, fits the same exact what you said earlier about my dog that we got from the Abacos, because of hurricanes, that's exactly what she used to do. And literally, after putting her head through the sheetrock 2 times while we were at work, my wife said, if you don't do something, we're going to have to let this dog go. And that's what started all of this in the first place, finding an alternative. The ancients said, that music soothes the savage beast. Well, they're certainly not savages. They're just like us. When they're stressed out, they need help. And it's been such a blessing to be able to help. So my added thing is yours, obviously sometimes you have to succumb to using medication, but I try everything in my tool chest to try to alleviate the use of drugs and try to do it naturally. And so far, music has just been absolutely 100% successful in our home and many others as well. Thanks so much.
Of course. When you purchase one of these Wholetones, you get over 50 minutes of music. And with the promo code VET, V-E-T, that's less than $1 a minute for your dog to keep them calm, to keep them not stressed out. So don't delay. Definitely go to the website and check it out. You may not feel like your pet is stressed out, but sometimes we don't pick up on those signs of separation anxiety. So definitely worth checking out. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate everything that you've done to help minimize the stress in our 4-legged fur babies.
Well, thank you for all you do, and thank you for having me.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Find me at drjustinelee.com, on Facebook at Dr. Justine Lee, or email me your pet questions at drjustine@petliferadio.com. With that, we're out of time, and we want to thank Michael Tyrrell and Mark Winter, our producer, for making this show possible. See you at the next episode.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.